Humans on the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. The news keeps on rolling in. This time, we're not even looking at Infinite Forbidden stuff or the Duelist to Brilliance Duels pack stuff. This is actually the very first reveals for Animation Chronicle 2024. It looks like a handful of just random cards, some legacy support, some other random stuff. We're going to take a look as we go, but all cool. They also show off an alt art. I believe this is just an alt art for, what is a Silent Magician, I think, but they might say that later on. Okay, but let's get into this thing. We got some cards to go through, see how they do. All right, first off, we have Singularity Fiend. This is a level 1 Dark Fiend effect monster. It's a pretty good stat line, just because Dark Fiends already have extra synergy in the game right now. Its attack is 0, defense is 0. You can only use the effect of this card once per turn. When your opponent special summons a monster, you can discard this card and one spell to destroy that monster. That is interesting. That's actually interesting. That's not a nothing hand trap. I mean, I would say the overall payoff of this card is just straight up better than Ghost Ogre, right? Ghost Ogre does not see consistent play in the game, but this is just... I mean, listen, the drawback here is obviously you got to pitch a spell as well. If this just said discard, this card may just completely power creep Ghost Ogre, if it only discard itself, right? It may have completely power crept Ghost Ogre out of the entire game, basically going forward, right? The fact that you can hit stuff on summon instead of having to wait for them to activate their effect is pretty good. I mean, a Ghost Ogre can hit spell and trap, so there's some other instances where that Ghost Ogre covers where this card doesn't, but I do think overall this card's probably just better. Plus, this destroys monsters, which is pretty spicy as well. So any effect that summons multiple monsters, that even, like, imagine a pen summon. Somebody pen summons and you literally just wipe like 4 monsters off the board. Is pretty insane. Listen, this is going to be pretty specific. This is going to have to... I could see this card actually being pretty spicy, but it would have to be in a deck where, like, you basically have spell effects that you're totally okay with pitching to grave. Basically. I mean, maybe this is a card that has some interesting hand trap synergy with something like the new... what are those cards called? The new Whitewoods. The new Whitewood cards, where there's all their spells and traps on their sent to grave, they just reset themselves immediately. That's something I would look at, potentially. I think this is an interesting card, honestly. This is definitely something I'll revisit. That's a generic card I'll pick up when it comes out, just because. Alright, next up we have Ancient Gear Statue. This is a level 2 Earth Machine. Ancient Gear support is pretty hype, for sure. I know a lot of people are really hyped about Ancient Gears. This is a 500 attack, 800 defense. You can... 500 attack? This is searchable off of Ancient Gear box? I think. You can only special summon with the first effect of this card once per turn. You can only use the second effect once per turn as well. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from the hand. Okay, I mean, it's not bad considering this is supposed to be a hard-going second deck anyway. I'm just thinking, like, if you search off of box with this, like, is your opponent going to have more monsters than you? It's still possible, but... Okay. Second effect, you contribute this card to special summon Ancient Gear Golem or one monster that mentions it. Except another Ancient Gear statue from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. That's pretty decent. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I think this card's cool. It's a Cyber Dragon that is searchable off of Ancient Gear box, and just even as a normal summon, it is just kind of like a tutor straight into an Ancient Gear boss monster. And now we have the new Ancient Gear guy, the new Ancient Gear Golem form, where, like, isn't it just on summon he, like, searches 2 cards, I think? Something like that. I don't remember exactly what he did because I haven't really looked at them again since I looked at them initially, but that's not a bad Ancient Gear card. That actually seems pretty playable. Okay, cool. That's a cool card. Next up, Antidote Nurse. I love the artwork. This looks like an old style, like, iPhone game. Like a character from that, like, just like a little iPhone game that probably wasn't that great, but it had, you know, fun little cute characters. This is a rank 3. Whoa, XYZ monster. That's not what I was expecting. So rank 3. I'm thinking Goblin Bikers already. Light Machine. 1800 attack, 1200 defense. Takes any 2 or more level 3s. Nice and generic. Quick effect, you can attach 1 material from this card, then target a monster whose current attack and or defense is different from its original. its attack and defense become its original attack and defense. Then, if you target a monster you controlled at activation, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn. Second effect, once per turn, if another monster is special summoned to your field and this card has 3 or more materials, you can make that monster gain 900 attack. What? This card's terrible. What does this card do? This card doesn't do anything. This card's terrible. This card's unplayable. I'd like the artwork on it. Not good. Okay. Next up, Red Dragon Archfiend support. So people are going to be psyched. I know there's a good amount of people that are still, you know, really like the Red Dragon Archfiend stuff we got last year. Hopefully this is good. Engrave Soulrite. This is our Soul Fist. Equip spell you can only equip to a Dragon Synchro. That's not the best, but okay. Red Dragon Archfiend equipped with this card is unaffected by your opponent's activated card effects. That's not nothing. I mean, but it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same situation as like Marine Cess. The reason nobody actually plays the Marine Cess strategy in a way where you actually try to make use of the make their monsters a towers kind of thing, and nobody leans on that, is because it's so fragile, right? Like any spell or trap removal just clears the field spell, and then they're not towers anymore. Same thing here, right? Just if this is equipped, if they just have any way to remove the equip spell, they literally have free reign on you. Okay, so not crazy, but that's, you know, still, it is something. It's not nothing. Once per turn, you can change the attack of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls to the equipped monsters. Interesting. So you could even equip it to something smaller to make all your opponent's monsters smaller. Interesting. And once per turn, when an attack is declared involving the equipped monster, you can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, and if you do, the equipped monster gains attack equal to the banished monster's attack until the end of this turn. This card's more cheeky. I mean, like, it's cool. Like, it's cool that, like, I know a lot of people have about Red Dragon Archfiend stuff, and they have some cool cards from their structure deck last year, but this just isn't it, right? Like, yeah, sure, it makes you a towers, but it's the bad kind of towers that's very fragile. Changing all your opponent's stats is fine. I guess it makes sense, right? Because the monster you get is going to be able to, like, banish not only DD Crow, a monster in your opponent's grave, but then gain its attacks. That way you guaranteed are getting over something. Just not enough. Just not enough payoff. I can't really see too many scenarios where you would actually play this card in Red Dragon Archfiend, and you can't even equip it to anything. You have to equip it to a Dragon Synchro, so that also kind of pigeonholes how flexible this card is as well. And the last thing here is, yeah, Silent Magician level 8. This is the new artwork. I wonder if we'll get new artworks for the smaller Silent Magicians as well. That'd be pretty cool. And some reprints. Nothing crazy. I mean, honestly, let's be honest. The winners here are definitely random new Hand Trap. That's like better Ghost Ogre. That could potentially come up in like good decks that have spells that float in grave. And Ancient Gear. It's just a good Ancient Gear card and a good well, I don't want to say good, but like niche for the strategy the strategies you are able to play it in, but like not honestly a decent hand trap. We'll see. But yeah, that's everything we have today here, guys. Yeah, pretty cool. Like, honestly, I'll take it. Generic card and a good legacy support for Ancient Gear. Normally we end up with like 20 to 30 new cards imported from the Animation Chronicles. So and also almost every single year they try to print one straight up like whole archetype. Last year we got like the Earthbound Servants. Then the year before that it was like G Golem, and it goes back a couple years, and I think maybe Sun Avalon was eventually in one of those. My memory gets a little hazy as we go back further, but I know for a fact they try to print one anime archetype that's never been printed before. So I'm looking forward to that. And then there's more cards like this. Like there's just random good stuff in Animation Chronicle. It's weird. It almost doesn't feel right that like anime cards coming straight from the anime are just actually good, but like sometimes they just are, and I'm here for it. So let me know your thoughts down below. If there's anything niche that I didn't notice, I'm not a big Ancient Gear guy. I don't know that much about the functionality of the deck. So if there's any niche applications with this guy, let me know the additional information down below. And then this guy, like any ideas, what archetypes might be able to splash like this? This is just a good hand trap, you know? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching as always, guys. Stay tuned for more. Subscribe to the channel because I'm bringing you all videos whenever news drops, as soon as it drops. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.